talk about what. So, what are two main rocks that people usually have to turn over in these relationships, whether it's business, whether it's raising your child, or whether it's your family, and to find out who we really are, which is what your big thing, who are you really?
Yeah.
So what do you see repetitively? Everybody's different, but what kind of blocks or rocks or stumbling things come up for people so they're not allowing themselves to see or be, and then the other question which you have is, what do you want and how to get to those? Because sometimes a lot of us do stuff we think we're wanting, but maybe we're not really wanting it. We just think we're supposed to want it because everybody, so I just thought you could share on that a little bit.
Yeah, you actually almost just answered it with
oh my goodness,
which is that the main block that I see is that people are in relationships doing what they think they want or what they thought they wanted. And a lot of times what you wanted for this relationship, for this business, for your family, when you first envisioned it, is not what you want anymore, or you get it and it turns out it's not what you thought it was going to be. So I would say the two main blocks are, one is the fantasy, what you think it's going to be when you get there, and then it's not that, and you have to either choose to be with what is or go and create something different. And then the other is that it's hard to check in and say, what do I want, when you've been doing something or you fought so hard to get to a certain place, and then you have to go and re-question the whole thing. If you've been married for 20 years, you don't really want to put it out on the table and say, is this what I want? I mean, you're so much invested in it. And really being willing to look at, what do I want? What do I want now?
Right, or
and
how
then
I
being
can
willing
shift.
to communicate that.
Yeah.
Because people evolve and change, and then just being willing to communicate that. And I think a lot of us are afraid to be with what we really want.
Well, it's interesting because as you were talking, it's a thing I've always, say about myself. I do a lot of things, accomplish a lot of things, but sometimes I know, me personally, I don't know if it happens to other people, I'm afraid to want stuff or even ask for what I want because I think I'm afraid I won't get it. So if I don't ask, then nobody can disappoint me, or the world can't disappoint me. But that's not really a great space to live in, because then you're not really, you know what I mean? You're keeping, I'm sure I'm not the only person I'm sure that's a lot of people.
Yeah.
We think we're saying what we want, but maybe we don't really voice it because we don't think it's possible. And anything's possible. Really.
Not everything is possible, right? If it's raining outside, is it possible to go out and not get wet, without an umbrella? It's not possible. So not everything is possible. There is a reality that we live in, and we're looking to coexist with reality. And I think part of what you want is, what do you want in the context of reality?
Right, what possibilities in the context of reality?
We live in time and space.
Right.
So some things aren't possible. There is a co-creator or co-manifester along with us. We're not doing it alone, especially because there are other, human beings here.
Right.
And we're all dancing together, to doing this together. So not everything is possible, but what is possible within the context of this relationship, within the context
of this business,
and of the reality that we're in.
And then when we're talking about that, what kind of coaching do you do? When a person expected a certain thing, or wants something so desperately, but it doesn't seem to manifest itself. A lot of times people turn it back and, I must have not really want. That's not necessarily true, is it? It's just so how do you get people out of beating themselves up and then not being able to move to whatever could make them joyful about their life and their journey?
Well,
and people get to ages when that happens too,
I think there's a confusion between what you want and what you have. And you can want something, and it doesn't mean that you are going to get that, but you could still be really clear about what you want and go after it. What you receive, your practice is only on how you react to what you receive, but it doesn't mean you're going to have it.
Right, you may have something far greater than that too,
or
something totally different, a road turn.
That's exactly right. Sometimes with what you want is, I always say, make a little room for the magic. There are things that you don't even know that you want. I know that my kids, there's some things that they want, and then I'll take them somewhere and they're like, oh Mom, this is so much better than I could have thought. In the world too, there are things that are so much better than what we can dream up. So yes, dream up what you want, but then make room for the
the
magic.
big dream, yeah.
Yeah, and then the practice is in being with what is, because when you're good with what is, you have freedom. And you talked about being stuck. That is one of the best ways to get unstuck, is to let go of the fantasy and be with what is. You're immediately unstuck.